What's up, everybody? KP19, Kyle, whatever you want to call it. Saw Oppenheimer again, and now it's finally time to sit down and talk about the spoiler review. If you don't like spoilers or haven't seen the movie or anything like that, definitely do not watch this video. See the movie and then come back to it, or whatever you need to do, because this is going to be a spoiler review. Yeah, so there's your warning, and we're going to jump into it. Oppenheimer is very unique, very different from what Christopher Nolan usually makes. And I feel like, because today when I was seeing it with a few of my buddies, was the first time flaws actually came out. People were like, okay, there's some things about the movie that's a little kind of, you know what I mean? And I respect it and I agree with it in instances. Because I see kind of what the other side wants to see, like, about this movie. Like, oh, it could be mid, or oh, it could be this. I personally love the movie and think it's probably my favorite of the year. But this is a movie where I would only watch it probably, like, after watching it today, I would only probably watch one more time and be done. And probably not watch it as much as I do with normal Christopher Nolan movies. And here's why. It's not a bad thing. It's just this movie is meant to be kind of watched once and done, because it kind of, like, there's so many things that, like, when I was watching it again, I'm like, oh yeah, this happens now. And it kind of ruins it from when you watch it again, because it's like, you know what's coming, you know this. But that's every movie, but it's like sometimes when you watch movies again, it grows on you and it becomes better in that sense because you understand more. I did that, understood more. Did I think it was better? Not necessarily, because I've watched it and already think it's good. But this movie is, it's definitely good. It's just, I feel like it's going to be a one and done kind of scenario with this movie. Some of the things that I didn't notice in the first one that I thought was perfect at first was the pacing. I thought the pacing was genuinely perfect for a 3-hour movie. But in the beginning, I've noticed that there were some things that kind of dragged a little bit, but it was needed to complete the story and also kind of sum up what was being told near the end. And I think at that beginning is what makes the end better. That's really the only flaw that I noticed. A lot of other people said there was a couple other things that they noticed, but I personally enjoyed every second of it. It's one of those things with this movie, like, it's so complicated. Like, I genuinely love this movie. I loved every second of it because it's so different. Christopher Nolan goes a completely different route here. He usually is, like, big on action, like the drama being kind of risen by the action and all this other stuff that's just so compelling and makes you, like, want to watch the movie again. Like Interstellar, for example, which is by far one of my favorite Christopher Nolan movies. It's just so good because it combines the drama with this tension-filled action. And I get it, because here he has to use facts, right? Because it's Oppenheimer, it's his story. You have to use the facts that are, make him a character. You can't just, like, bullshit all the, ideas. Which I understand why it was like this. But I really liked that he switched up. Usually there's, like, action followed with drama. Here it's just maybe a minute of the bomb is your action, and then the rest is just tension-filled talk, which I really like. I can see why people will get bored with this movie, and I see why people do call it mid. But me personally, I kind of like the dramas. I like the kind of tension that you feel. I like the build up to the bomb drop. I thought that was the most tension-filled scene I've ever seen in a Christopher Nolan movie. The only thing that came close to that was Interstellar. when it was when he was like spinning around and then kind of getting teleported to like the time zone. I'm saying that completely wrong. I'm sorry. I just haven't seen that movie in forever. Um, but I really liked how on the edge of my seat I was when that bomb was about to go off. And there's just so many great performances in this film. Like in with this movie, like all actors are good in Christopher Nolan films, but here everybody did great. Everybody nailed it out of the park. Cillian Murphy being one of them. He deserves an Oscar, as I've said it before. I watched him again on screen, and I feel still what he's feeling, and the tension and the buildup. And a lot of people will say his eyes. I am in agreement with that, bro. Like, dude, the man is just everything you want in an actor. Like, he can show it with dialogue, he can show it with facial reactions, body expression. Like, literally, you feel this man's tension and like what he's going through. And he can play different emotions. He's a storytelling actor, and I love it. And he better get an Oscar, because if not, I'm gonna be so mad. Anyways, the cinematography was gorgeous. I forget who does the cinematography for it. Pause 1 second. Okay, sorry, I can never remember the name. Hoyte van Hoytema. Oh my god, I'm gonna mess that up. He did director of photography for this film, and I like how rigid it feels. Like, you're sitting here and it kind of feels like I don't know how to describe it. It's like how they use the film reels, because they use 70 millimeter film for this. It feels rigid and dense, and like you feel the tension from the look of it. And also, I love how it changes aspect ratios, like I've said before. It changes with colors. It goes from color to black and white. I really love that. And just some like camera angles that are just really unique. Like how I said in the first review, where it's kind of close up on his face and everything around him is just shaking above. And it was just really cool with the musical score, which is freaking gorgeous, by Ludwig. I think it's Gerling. I can't say that right. I'm so sorry. Names are not going to work for me as per usual. He did a great musical score. I downloaded the whole thing and listened to it last night. It was awesome. It's just so intriguing what the violin can do and what all these other instruments can do to help create a movie. It's just, music is such a powerful, powerful thing in anything that you do. But yeah, that's the general sum up. What I also really loved was the bomb, obviously, because they did that for real. That was not fake, that was real. The practical effects, I want to know how they did some practical effects. Like, there was some things where it's like, it's really blue, the stars, but then there's like this halo blue thing that goes across. I think it's like supposed to represent his brain. But I'm wondering how they did all that practically, because that looks like something that would be CGI. But I want to know so bad how they did that practically, because that's sick, and it was really cool. But yeah, by far, I think performances really carry this movie. I think if it wasn't for this spectacular cast, this film would be completely different. But Christopher Nolan is just great at getting actors, and he has the respect to do so. And he's very talented behind the camera. It's not as much like with other movies where, there's other things around it to help make the cast better. This is strictly cast, and there's not really a lot of visual elements like that help drive the characters, is what I'm meaning. Like, there's a lot of visual elements, sure, with the bomb, with the musical score and everything, but like, yeah. Sometimes I'll just, like, with my ADHD brain, guys, sometimes it'll just be like, I'll think of something, then I'll lose it, and I'll pause, and I'll just say something to ramble until it comes back. That happens. But yeah, I mean, everything that I said in the spoiler-free review is kind of what I'm going to say here. Like, it was a genuinely good movie. It was very tension-filled. It is very dialogue-heavy, so if you do not like dialogue, if you want more action, it's not going to happen. But I think it's good. I like that it does that. I like how Christopher Nolan does a change, how it switches up from his normal, because usually he's meant for like big spectacular cinematic CGI shit, and he completely goes practical and makes it drama, and I like it. It was so good, and I wish movies would kind of go back to the dialogue perspective sometimes. And he even said it himself in an interview that he made his script in the first person, which is completely focused on Oppenheimer. Like, if you're going in expecting it to be about a bomb and like everything about the bomb, no. It's everything about Oppenheimer and Oppenheimer himself. What was really weird, I will say this, there was one thing personally. I'm sorry, guys, my nose is dying. My allergies are so bad. I don't know what's going on, but my allergies are just terrible right now. One thing, though, that I did find very, very, very weird was there is a shot in the movie where the girl that he used to like, who was a communist, dies. He's in the courtroom. He's kind of explaining like how he had an affair with her. But then the camera kind of loops around behind the one of the judge's heads and cuts back around to Cillian Murphy on the chair and like Florence Pugh on top of him sexually. And just like going to town on it. And I get why they had that, because they wanted to show Emily Blunt's perspective of like an affair and like her witnessing that and being like, distraught by it. But I just felt it was so random. So like looking back at that, I was like, why does that exist? Like, that shouldn't exist at all. Like, it's just so random. Like, I get it earlier on, but like, why in the courtroom? Like, I get it was probably for an artistic kind of idea, but it just didn't feel right for me. I didn't find it. I found it just weird, and I was just questioning why he put that in there. But I also thought it was really cool how Christopher Nolan made a rated R movie. I don't think he has ever, if I'm not mistaken, because Inception was an R, Tenet was an R, Interstellar was an R. I'm not sure if Interstellar was. I think it was PG-13. But it was really cool to see him make an R movie, and I think it's really cool that he did something he was very passionate about, because he was talking about how much he loved Oppenheimer, how much he wanted to dive into this character and, create a story about it. And it was really cool. But other than that, guys, like the whole movie, there's a bunch of beautiful cinematography. There's cool things that they do in editing. I like how it kind of like chops from the bomb, and like when he's talking, it's like a bomb comes in, like, and then like they're kind of like talking again, and it builds up that tension. But yeah, guys, I still think Oppenheimer is by far my favorite movie of the year. Unless something magically surprises me, I don't see anything really taking this spot. It's unique. It's different from Christopher Nolan movies. It's tension-filled. The drama is there. The acting is there. The editing is there. The cinematography is there. The set decoration is like off the charts. There's a freaking real-life bomb. All practicals, no CGI. The bomb was real. Like, they used a real bomb, and you feel that in the movie. Like, you can hear the delay of the bomb when it goes off, because you go off, no sound. And then, like, a minute later, it just whooshes you with the bomb. And it's something that I think in a couple of years, it's going to be, like, sort of a statement. Like, I think this is where people are going to try and flex again to not use CGI and use practicals instead, because I think everybody's starting to get bored with the whole CGI thing, especially since Marvel uses it like literally all the time. I'm serious about that. But yeah, guys, I think this is going to be it for my spoiler review. I know I didn't really dive much into the spoilers, but literally everything that I talked about is what you're going to see in this movie. There's nothing like too crazy like Interstellar or Inception in terms of the look of it and cool things in it, but I kind of like that. I like how they used black and white and color to symbolize different things more than, cool special effects. And they just use all practicals. So what'd you all think of Oppenheimer? I loved it. I know you all are waiting for the Barbie review. I'm going to be seeing that this week, I promise. We do need to do the Barbenheimer, but I just haven't had time to see both. So I just wanted to see what one I was more excited for, which was Oppenheimer, and it delivers on all levels. What did you all think about it? I'm curious. I could see again why people would think it is mid, just because it is 3 hours of just talking and a bomb that only lasts a minute. But I love that personally. I love how it's kind of centered around Cillian Murphy's character and as Oppenheimer, and I think he's perfect for that role. And also because it was just my favorite actor, like with my favorite director, I think that's why I love it even more. But if none of these characters receive Oscars, then I'm just gonna say it's completely rigged, because all of them should in this movie, because everyone did fan-fucking-tastic. Like, it was best acting I've seen in a while. Besides the one movie I'm thinking of, Asteroid City, which is a movie. I love that movie, but I just, I didn't think it was Wes Anderson's best piece. I definitely have seen better by him, but that's just my personal opinion with that. But anyways, I will not bore you all anymore with Oppenheimer. Definitely go see it in theaters again. Seeing it again in theaters just reminded me like how awesome the theaters are. I got a story to talk about with that real quick. With Oppenheimer in the theaters, and I'll let you all go. We were supposed to see it in an auditorium, right? Got our tickets, we were ready to go. They switched the theater that Oppenheimer played in and didn't let us know about that. So we basically got screwed over, and we had to sit in the front row and not like in the middle, like where we were supposed to be. Instead, we had to go all the way in the front row and watch it like this. It was it was interesting. We'll leave it at that. But yeah, guys, I got a free ticket out of it though. So they were just like, yeah, here, free movie tickets. So that's what I'm using for Barbie. Love that. Broke college kid over here. Anyways, I will stop talking now. What did you all think of Oppenheimer? I freaking loved it. As different as it is, I'm curious to see what you all think as well. And yeah, peace. Have a great night.